First of all, I welcome everybody here. This is a great opportunity for people in the National Football League who we open our arms to come and have a chance to look at, evaluate our players. Lots of players here want to get an education. We do the best we can to create a platform for them to be successful in that regard, but they all also, want the opportunity to play in the NFL someday. So we want to continue to help them develop to be the best players they can be so that they get opportunities like this. I think the better our players do when they get opportunities in the NFL, the more it benefits our program, long term. And obviously, I think with a lot of the things that are happening now in college football, it's going to be more challenging to continue to be able to develop players. But that's a challenge that we're certainly looking forward to. So, but I really appreciate what these guys have to do. I did it for 8 years when I was in the NFL to go around, travel around, work out players, try to get to know them better, and gather information from coaches and people who have relationships with them. So we appreciate them, and we try to do the best job we can to make sure we accommodate them in a first-class way.
Evan Neal, what with his athleticism allowed him to be the tackler and guard that he was for you guys?
Evan Neal's an outstanding player. Obviously, he's got great size, and he's got great competitive character. Football is important to him. He loves football. He pays attention to detail. He prepares well, and his size and athletic ability has, put him in a position where I think he has a very bright future, and he did a great job for us, and whether he played guard or tackle. And I'm sure that diversity will help him as a pro player as well.
Coach, you talk about diversity all the time. Brian Robinson, a local guy that waited his turn behind some pretty good running backs. What does that say about him as a player and as a person?
Well, I always say that people having resiliency, which means they have persistence, they can overcome adversity, they don't get frustrated, they learn from their failings. These are all things that are critical to development. And I think Brian Robinson, as Mac Jones was last year, is a great example of a guy who, kept his head down, kept working, showed great resiliency and perseverance to continue to work on trying to improve, whether it was his speed, his knowledge of the game, his hands, whatever it was to make himself a better player, to where he had a great year this year and was very productive and now has an opportunity to play at the next level. So I think those are great stories, to be told to most college players, that stories like this, people have a tremendous amount of respect for, guys that showed an ability to overcome adversity to be able to have success. I think that's something that it's hard to be a great competitor if you can't overcome adversity. Well, we've moved guys around, quite a bit, but he's doing fine. I see maturity in him. I see better knowledge and confidence in what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to do it. And I've been pleased with the way he's practiced and developed, and the toughness and instincts that he's showing. So we're encouraged.
So many motivations, how important is this scrimmage or scrimmages this spring? Are they more important now now that you're trying to break in more and more players in offseason?
Well, I think spring practice is always important because you're always trying to develop the young players on your team. Our circumstance here doesn't seem to ever change. We'd have had 9 starters back on offense and 9 starters back on defense. Last year was kind of a young, developing team. And you have 6 guys go out for the draft, so now you got 5 starters back and 7 on defense. So you're still trying to develop players, young players who need to be able to step up and maybe play a little earlier than maybe you anticipated they would because of those circumstances. So I think that's always the case, and I think that's always something that's really, really important to us, especially in the spring, especially with young players. And I think it's even more important that they can self-assess so that they understand what do they need to do after spring, over the summer, and in fall camp to even take the next step in their development so that they have a better chance to be successful in the fall.
How was the transition gone from Matt Ray to Paul Carson's team? What did it mean to keep David on staff?
It's been really smooth. We have Dr. Ray did a great job for us, but the people we have in place know the system. They've worked it for several years. Dave Ballou is the guy that implements the whole thing. So that hadn't changed. So I don't think anybody would really notice a difference. I don't think we skip a beat because the people we have are good people, and we like to develop from within, and we've developed those people have developed very nicely for us.
Another Evan Neal question. Obviously, he's regarded top 5, maybe top 3, number 1, or whatever. So what does he have to sell? Because he's got so much tape, he's got the measurables and all that. So what is the key to the process for him now? Is it face-to-face meetings? In your mind?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it really kind of depends on more what people are looking for and what they need. I think that Evan Neal's going to do a great job in any interview. He's a bright guy. He's articulate. He's got a great understanding of football. So he's going to continue to impress people, whether it's physically or, mentally, and as they try to evaluate, his skill set. But I think people have to draft a little bit more for need now, because whoever you draft needs to start for you in the first probably 3 rounds because of the salary cap and where your team is. So a little bit of it is, fit relative to what someone needs and what his skill set provides to satisfy that need. But, I have every confidence that he'll continue to do everything he can and will do to continue to create value for himself.
You've talked in the past.
Quarterbacks look, and how important is it to have a guy like Bryce for them to learn off of this year?
We're trying to develop, the guys that we have in the program, and we're pleased with where they are and not satisfied, but pleased with the progress they're making. It's a lot of stuff getting thrown at them, really quickly. And the cumulative effect, can bog them down a little bit, but they're bright guys, they're working hard, they're doing the right things. And I think anytime you have an experienced player, especially someone who understands, is smart, prepares well for the game, sets a great example for everyone else like Bryce does, it really enhances development of young players at that position.
2 more. We'll start with Alex. You've talked in the past about how this is the time of year everybody has something they can improve upon. With a guy like Will Anderson, who's already accomplished quite a bit, where do you see those areas of improvement in him using his time this time of year?
Well, Will was one of the most dominating defensive players in the country last year. I think that if you ask Will that question, he would probably have a better answer than I could give you even. Because we have a tremendous amount of respect for how he played last year, what his production was, what his performance was on a consistent basis. But I think he challenges himself to continue to develop knowledge of, how can I apply the skills that I have to be even more productive, whether it's in pass rush, whether it's in playing the run, whether it's how I prepare for a game so I can anticipate what's going to happen next. Because I know as a competitor, he's never satisfied. And I think that's probably why he is what he is and why he'll continue to improve.
Anything else, guys?
Coach, just how does Jalen Moody back? What is he bringing to that locker room and Moody back to the team?
Well, Jalen has certainly been a guy that's made a lot of positive contributions to the team in a lot of ways. Been a great special teams player for us, has always accepted his role, being a really, really solid backup player who, when he's played, he's been able to play very well. But I also think that, when guys have been in that role, they have to understand what goes with being a starter. You know, you have to challenge yourself to be ready and prepared to play with great consistency and performance, and that's something that you know, he certainly and we certainly want him to come out of the spring and prove to himself and to everybody else that he's very capable of doing that.